I'm calling today's special meeting to order. I'm Commissioner Vasavada with the Port of Olympia. We have all members present. Jerry Toompas, Commissioner Toompas is joining us online today. The other four commissioners are in the room. It's Wednesday, May 6th, 5 p.m. And we have a very focused agenda today with one action item. It's a sublease with Flora Inc. And it pertains to the warehousing of the availability of warehousing at the Port of Olympia. So with that, I'd like to ask for approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
We have Commissioner Montano and with Commissioner Unsold has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, so the motion carries and we have an agenda. We do have public comment today. There's one person online seeking to comment, and that is Ms. Lee Reiner on Port of Olympia issues. Today's, oh, she's in person. Ms. Reiner.
Thank you so much for allowing public comment today. Many of us were startled and surprised of this meeting today, an unplanned meeting of the Port of Olympia. We realize that this is a very difficult job for port commissioners. You're only paid $20,000 a year, yet you're asked to do a lot, constantly reading, constantly studying. And many of us who have lived here in this beautiful county that we love deeply for 40 years kind of wonder what is going on with Port of Olympia. We know that $8 million a year of taxpayer money goes to the Port of Olympia. We realize that Suzano, the Brazilian company that raises eucalyptus trees in Brazil and then sends them up here so we can have paper, supplying the Georgia Pacific paper plant up here in the Pacific Northwest. Many of us are concerned what Suzano is doing in Brazil. We have seen the PBS specials on television where Suzano is taking land away from the people who live in Brazil, the indigenous people. I don't know if you've seen those PBS specials, but it's really heartbreaking. And you know, let's face it, eucalyptus is not sustainable. It takes out the micronutrients from the soil. Bottom line is Suzano needs more help. Who is paying for all this extra pulp that's coming into Port of Olympia to be transported to this new location? We understand there's going to be a lot more pulp coming in this next shipment to the Port of Olympia. How much staff time has Port of Olympia spent on this? How many hours and hours? Who is paying for this? We are, the taxpayer. Are we getting anything from this? I don't think so. $8 million, we could have tiny homes. We could help the homeless. We could help farmers with $8 million a year. But no, we keep helping the corporations. And here he is, Suzano, and also Weyerhaeuser. Weyerhaeuser Marine Terminal's getting a sweetheart deal, and everybody's talked about it for years.
Ms.
And
Reiner,
we're concerned.
I ask you to please confine your remarks to facts that are germane and present.
Yes, well, thank you very much. I just wanted to speak to Suzano, and I don't know how many minutes I have left because I can't see it. It's not on the board. Is it supposed to be up there, Alex? How many minutes I have left?
There's 32 seconds.
Oh, I can't see it.
No.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, I hope that you think about the homeless in Olympia and not the corporations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Reiner. And that is a lovely kiwi on your baseball cap. I couldn't take my eyes off. Okay, do we have anyone else signed in to testify today? Well, then that will close our public comment. And now we will have an action other. I assume I'm inviting Option to give us our Marine Terminal Director, and that would be lovely to include in agendas who's going to speak, will be presenting us about the warehouse lease approval.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Afshin Yilmaz, Marine Terminal Senior Manager, and I'm here to present a small presentation about the 9222 Polaris Lane warehouse lease approval. Approval is requested, and this is to authorize the Executive Director to execute a warehouse space lease at this location. We have as you know, the facts, we have the current warehouse at 76,000 square foot that at the moment with the most efficient stowage we can put up to 28,000 tons of paper pulp. Our next vessel is arriving on May 17th. I think it's May 18th now, with 22,200 tons of pulp. This is not the largest tonnage we have ever received. We had 24,900 tons before, but due to the timing of this coming a little bit earlier and the product that didn't leave the warehouse as fast, we are out of capacity. Coupled with the inventory that we have on hand, the projected cargo at the time of the vessel's arrival is close to exceeding 32,000 tons. At the moment, it's close to 33,000. So we need to relocate some of the existing inventory, but this is also serves as a long-term plan. We seem to get this with ships more and more, and this was the reason we were trying to build a warehouse for this project, because we're just getting a little bit more tonnage each time, and it seems to be this is the third time we are having storage issues with this cargo. If you remember, 2 ships ago, we stored it in the Dancing Goats building temporarily. We went and surveyed the warehouse space. It's very suitable for the cargo, and it's a suitable location. And the lease terms are suitable for the port because most of the terms are 3 years and up. We found this as a sublease for a year, and that's what we are looking at the moment, time frame wise. We don't need anything for 3 years. This is going to be a 20,000 square foot location at $15,000 per month. This is also below the rates we have encountered everywhere else. So it's a reasonable rate. That's the location of the new temporary storage facility. It's in Lacey. It's close to one of the Warren put that as a just familiarity. We used to own that location, Commerce Business Center.
Oh,
So it's very close to that. The reason we had to look for storage nearby is obviously transportation time and to be able to load out from the location when needed. Our intention is to keep inventory there and only use it to load out if we do run out of cargo, which happens sometimes depending on their customers' demands, increased distribution. If we run out of cargo at the warehouse, then we're going to move over to that location and load out from there with our own longshore. So this is going to be completely port controlled and employed operation. 13-month term. Port will be the subtenant. Arrangement has been approved by the landlord. Lease commencement date is May 6th, today, 2026. And the termination is 30th of June, 2027. We intend to have all the cargo out of there by that time. First month's rent is prorated, and all the fees related to this move are being reimbursed by Suzano. We're just going to add it to our usual invoicing. This is due to us addressing the needs of the ship, but this is also our strategy to buy us some time to get the large storage that we actually need. Again, goal is to preserve and enhance our working waterfront and keep its connection to the trade. And it's also connected to action item 3 on the Vision 2050. Pursue and implement strategies that create value add opportunities. And suggested motion is.
we have time for questions. Commissioner Unsold.
So I have a couple of questions. So when did Suzano know that there was going to be an excess of tonnage for our current storage facilities?
A week makes a big difference. The problem that they are having is it was we were foreseeing that it was going to exceed the capacity a while back, but it's
I think
foreseeing.
foreseeing that it was going to push the capacity again. We come to this every ship almost nowadays. But I mean, every Suzano ship that comes, we are kind of getting there. That's why we need that warehouse. But one time we used the Goats building, we were gonna see how it works out and how the projections of load out can change. But this time the vessel moved forward. And there's not much they can do about it. This vessel is coming around and making another stop before coming to Olympia in Central America. And that port is very unreliable. Sometimes it takes 7 days, sometimes it takes 20 days for them to discharge. So all that scheduled projections are not as tight as in container ships. So answer to your question, we knew this about 2-3 weeks ago, that this was going to be a very tight but the solutions to this don't come quick. We had to come up with the idea because this is not something very usual to go and it usually warehouses empty, but now we have to seek additional storage. So we had to look for a place and that took time.
Commissioner Unsold, I'm going to ask you to hold on for 1 second. Commissioner Toompas had indicated earlier that he didn't have audio. Is he back?
So I believe.
Okay, because I don't see him anywhere here, so I have no way of knowing if Commissioner Toompas is seeking to participate in any way. So I just wanted to flag that. Thank you. And then before
Yes, I can hear.
nothing there. Okay. Is any other questions? Then I'll continue with you, Commissioner Unsold.
Well, there are two other questions. One of them, you made the mention of long-term larger storage space. My question would be, if this warehouse is available for the price that it is, then could it be an option to use in lieu of building a second warehouse?
It's not feasible. It's more expensive to use an outside storage like that because there's additional transportation cost for both for the customer. So it's not, we will only do this for a situation like this, for a temporary arrangement. For example, this happens every ship. This is not a solution we necessarily would have done just for one ship. Okay, we don't have the capacity. It's a difficult decision, but because we are thinking long-term, because we were going to build a warehouse and this warehouse costs are increasing and we are going to another much better route to get funding for this warehouse. And in the meantime, this puts our, what we projected for the warehouse, then our new secondary warehouse to be ready, it delays it for another year or so.
What delays it?
The building of the new warehouse. So building of our new warehouse, warehouse B, we are going for a grant route instead of port funding to build this warehouse. And that's gonna save us millions of dollars, of course, but it's gonna put a delay to the project. Now it's gonna be another year out. So we were telling our customer, yep, we're gonna have the warehouse maybe this September, but now we are saying it might be another year and a half.
Well, that's an admirable strategy, but I do believe this is the first time that is being briefed here to the commission. So I just want to make sure you understand that that's context you might want to elaborate a little bit further about.
I will, because it ties together. That makes the argument a lot more for us to strategize correctly. Again, this is not necessarily something we would have done just for one ship because we are getting the location for a year, at least a year. And we wouldn't have looked for a warehouse because it's going to be a 3-year lease minimum if you get an outside warehouse. A port cannot work with that kind of unflexible situation. But right now, all we need is additional inventory storage, at least 20,000 square foot until the new warehouse is built. And we are going to be using that location and we are killing 2 birds with 1 stone. We are also saving the situation with this ship, oncoming ship.
Director Yilmaz, can you clarify, because the motion here says to execute a warehouse space lease as presented. Can you clarify the term of the lease that you are?
13 months.
So that's the term of the lease.
That's the term of the lease. And we intend to be out of there before that. We intend to load the last cargo out of there before that.
And will Suzano cover the costs of the trucking to get the,
It's gonna be worked into the invoices for our trucking loadout invoices that we issue them to the customer.
a final question that I have is why make it go through the Port of Olympia? Why not just have Suzano lease the warehouse on their own?
They didn't come up, they looked for a storage before when one of the ships, to be honest, one of the ships was coming late before we the ship that we did that dancing goat storage thing, they actually looked for it. They didn't ask us first. They looked for storage. They couldn't find. And they're not here. They're not as local like us. But when we decided, let's look for a place, see if we can find a feasible low-cost solution. And when we looked for it, we came up with 4 or 5 different locations that we can look in our own county, very close, within 4 miles to the port. And one of them was suitable. And we thought that this is going to fit into not only this immediate solution, but a long-term solution. So we decided to go with that. They actually tried it, but this time, if they wanted to go for it, it was going to be a long, long process. They're not here. Their headquarters are in Brazil. It's going to take a lot for them to do something like that. And they didn't have it. They didn't think that they could do that.
Afshin, we heard public testimony that was concerned that there's a taxpayer subsidy that we are conferring to Suzano in this work. Are you aware of any subsidy of Port of Olympia taxes that goes towards?
There is
Jess?
Suzano operation is adds. I mean, I will mention but over $1 million easily net profit to the port. There's nothing that gets used from taxpayer money. Marine terminal consumes, except for capital projects, consumes no money from taxpayer money. We provide additional $2 million a year to the port's coffers. This is without spending on capital projects, of course.
So this lease will not require any transfer of taxpayer
No.
subsidy.
The whole Suzano operation, the whole costs and revenues of it is kept within its own accounting. I mean, its own accounts, and those accounts are always over $1 million positive for the port net at the end of the year.
Do we have a question, Commissioner Hanson?
I just noticed that we have the president of the local longshore here in the room, and I know that from the presentation that you were working closely with labor to figure out the solution. I just wonder if there's any comment from labor as to the viability of this strategy, and if this is something that you can handle, and if this is a good move from the perspective of labor.
Working on this together, yeah, it's gonna. Suzano is, and you use word is our versatility to be able to find a solution for them. I think really helps our relationship long term with them.
Terrific. With that, I feel like we've had good conversation, and I'm going to move to authorize the executive director to execute a warehouse space lease with Portis Lessee for the warehouse located at 9222 Polaris Lane Northeast, Lacey, Washington, as presented. I have a second in Commissioner Montano. Discussion? Yes, I would like to just say that Afshin, the fact that we need this space is a testament to you providing sort of a high level of concierge services to our tenants, to our clients at the Marine Terminal. It's showing the success of the Marine Terminal and its operations. And so I want to thank you for all your work. It feels almost routine that, of course, if you have a Marine Terminal, you need to house the materials that come and go. And I appreciated you clarifying that there is no taxpayer subsidy that goes towards the operation of this lease. With that, I ask for everyone's support. Any further discussion?
No, I disagree with that.
Commissioner Unseld.
I'm going to say that there's a lot of issues that have risen for me. And I am unable, my point of personal privilege is that I'm unable to vote in favor of this. I can understand where it's coming from, and I will not vote against it. I will abstain from voting. And I do, it makes sense in a way, but I see that in some ways, if we are going to provide the service of leasing the building from Suzano, then perhaps there should be some sort of a 15% fee that we get from them to, as a commission or whatever, so that we can help cover our liability. Because if Suzano were to not use the warehouse, then we would be stuck with the rent and they wouldn't pay us, I presume. Is that accurate?
We're not in
We're
discussion
not in-
anymore,
we're
so
not-
thank you. Please feel free to answer afterwards. Is there further discussion?
I would just add upon the point that you made about options, excellent work in activating our marine terminal and bringing this client, but also our labor partners and the service that they provide. And it's clear to me that we have an excellent team and our customers are benefiting from it and wanting to do more business with us because of it.
Anyone on Commissioner Toompas?
I have no comments. I'll just say that I do think it's important to keep Suzano's relationship a happy one. So yeah, I have nothing else.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll go to a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Four commissioners say aye. Opposed? What did we say it was called? Abstentions. We haven't typically had that, abstentions. So Commissioner Unsold is abstaining from the vote. We have 4 votes aye and 1 abstention. Looking back at that concludes our motion on that lease. And with that, that's all we have on the agenda for today. So we will adjourn. Thank you so much.